Hello, the Phoenix, let's make some fucking noise! No, I'm joking, I'm so sorry, I thought it was a Glastonbury. Hello, good evening, how are we? That's rhetorical, don't answer. Hope you've all had a few drinks to take the edge off the next couple of minutes, because woof, I'm nervous. Hi, I'm Leah, and I work at everyone's favourite Hall of Dead Things, the Natural History Museum. That's it, that's the 9 minutes, no. So, what I am is I'm a learning volunteer, so technically I don't work. But what I do is I take all the cool things from behind the scenes, take them out on gallery, and I just shove them into the nearest visitor's face. You name it, we've got it. Probably had one child cry upon seeing it, definitely. Now, being a volunteer is great because it supports my two main interests, which are talking for several minutes straight and fooling people that I know things. So, all round, it's great. No, I'm joking. I love being a volunteer because it's nature and I get people interested and excited about learning, which is very difficult, as any teacher will tell you. So, I've been a volunteer for about 5 years now, and I've realised that aside from the museum getting a lot of unpaid labour out of me, we also get asked some very, very weird questions. Oh, I'm in front of the projector, just realised that. We get asked some very weird questions. Because not only are you on gallery in uniform, which as anyone front of house will tell you, is a terrible idea. That's why you all hide your lanyards when you go to lunch, we know. But I'm also out on gallery with something very weird and I'm trying to actively get your attention. I have no fear making eye contact with any of you. So look forward to that in the next couple of minutes. So what happens is people treat you a little bit like a search engine for all those questions they want to know, they want to ask, but they don't want to ask anyone with authority, so you'll do. Favourite example of this was a couple of years ago, I was in the whale hall. Guess what we've got in there? And I was on this activity that does comparative anatomy between mammals, and a man approaches me. He points at our life-size blue whale model and he goes, right, how does that have sex? Now, there was no children there was no one there, so I thought, okay, sod it, let's do it. And so, not literally, but then we were chatting for several minutes about whales, how they get on with it. And for your sake and my sake, fortunately, I don't remember the details anymore, but what I do remember saying is, with great difficulty and with a lot of fluid. Now, every example I'm giving this evening, I would like to stress, I love them, okay? Like, if people were not brave and curious enough to ask all these kinds of questions, there would be absolutely no point having volunteers, okay? There are no dumb questions, but there are weird questions, all right? I want to stress that. That's a lie. People who come up to you and go, where are the mummies? Or, I had this last summer, where's the World War II exhibition? And they've got a smartphone in their hands and they've clearly planned a day in London. Good God, that is this close to being a dumb question. I'll be very honest with you. Oh, God! I had to just get that out of my system. No, so, when you're at the gallery, you have to do this thing where you have to make people think. And that's a scary thing because, good God, there are some gaps in the public's knowledge. So, there I am. I have a badger skull in my hand, as you do. I'm with the son and his mum. And we're just having a great chat. He's very into badgers. But his mum, she stops me and she goes, what is a badger? and then, no, it gets worse, because then she goes, is it a kind of monkey? Ooh. Now, I have a first-class degree in zoology, and I didn't spend 4 years studying, and 4 years of your taxpayer money not to tell you that, by the way. And good God, that floored me, because I have never been asked to describe a badger before, and in that moment I could not think of anything beyond black, white, a little bit stumpy, a little bit angry. And then enough time, oh God, I had a woman, we were on creepy crawly trolley, guess what we got that now? Well, I was on the creepy crawly trolley, and I was with a group discussing the differences between moths and butterflies. There's none, okay? Ask any lepidopterist, there's none. And this lady stops and she goes, is it true? Oh God, I have to clench this. Is it true that moths are made of dust? No. Now, all these examples are adults, by the way. Bloody brilliant. What the hell are you all doing? No, I'm joking. I love them. But children, God, they're so good. See, kids are marvellous. If we could continue as a species to make them and bring them to museums, that'd be great, because I love them. Now, children, sometimes you're going to get the kids who's like, ask the most incredible questions. They're very bright, they're very switched on, they're curious, and it will be something like, will chickens ever become extinct? Or how did we get corgis from wolves? And I'm like, yes, this is what I give up all my free time for. This is what I'm here. Absolutely fucking love this. Please be my daughter. And all this kind of stuff. Because I love that curiosity. But then sometimes most of the children that I seem to meet are like the little boy who I encountered, I think, last year. I was in the whale hall. Guess what? No. I was in front of our red deer taxidermy. I'm sitting there and you just taps him on the knee, like in that polite way that young children are. Very, very polite. And he says, excuse me, did you kill that? Now, sweet summer child, in this world of climate change and microplastics, we are all responsible. So much fun parties. And I'm pretty sure it's because children have no fear. Just checking for how many anecdotes I can slip in. No, children have no fear, and that's phenomenal. And I wish more of us had that because we get more questions like this. So I was on the mineral trolley, and I was trying to get this kid to think about metals. So I said, okay, let's go with iron. Kids know iron. Hey, have you heard of iron? He goes, yeah, my mum's got an ironing board. And then we have a box of fluorescent minerals with a UV torch. It's so cool. But also health and safety threatened to take my kneecaps. But anyway, we've got a UV torch in this box. And I say to the kid, I'm like, hey, do you know what UV is? He goes, yes. It makes frogs mutate. No, that's okay, that's fine. That's a start. But my favourite group 2 anecdotes come from using the real lion skull that we have. Now, already, that's just very cool. Good God, hello, I work in a place where I get to shove a real lion skull. But there's something about apex predators that really brings the best out of children. So, the first one is, I take it to a little girl and I say, hey, why do you think male lions might not live as long as female lions? And she goes, because they're lazy. And then I take out the lion skull again, and I try and approach the little girl again and say, hey, why do you think we can't see any of the lion's nose? And she goes, because it's dead. Which is, in hindsight, very obvious. But I love these kinds of questions particularly because they remind me, do not fucking underestimate children. Good God, they know so much, so much. Ask them about dinosaurs. Now, final anecdote, and then I'm off. This isn't particularly funny, but it's the best thing. It sums up why we do the volunteering, why any of us bloody bother going to museums. This is from Andy, a fabulous Saturday volunteer, what a ledge. And he had someone approach him on the mineral trolley who went, hi, you don't remember me. You remember no one. He says, well, you don't remember me. But I was here a few years ago and I did this activity and I loved it. I went home and I looked into minerals and, well, I just finished my part-time master's in geology and I wanted to come back and say thank you. Genuinely choking up a little bit. That's what it's all about. That's why we give up our free time. That's why we love nature so much. Love people loving to learn. That was a lot of L's. So, all of you go back to wherever the hell museums, archives, libraries you're from. Go say hi to your volunteers first of all, and go ask them, hey, what weird shit have people asked you? And they'll save this question. But they will probably also have some great anecdotes to tell you. Thank you all very much for listening. I have a panda skull with me if any of you like to touch it in a break. Yeah, that's the applause. Endangered species. No, thank you all for listening. Have a lovely night.